There are now hundreds of, quote, turnkey rental property companies all over America, each promising to make you rich simply by giving you the opportunity to buy cash flowing real estate that they sell to you. But does this make sense for your portfolio? Today I guide a listener struggling with what to do next. I'm Bryan Ellis, and this is episode number 61.
You're listening to Self-Directed Investor Radio, America's only podcast exclusively for affluent, self-directed investors, where each day of the week you receive innovative investment strategy and deadly accurate market analysis that's untainted by Wall Street and unblemished by government propaganda, all in 7 minutes or less. Coming to you now from iTunes, Stitcher, and SDIRadio.com, here's your host, Bryan Ellis.
Welcome, my friends, to the only investing podcast that won't blow smoke up your tailpipe when it comes to making investment decisions. Every investment you make should be three things: simple, safe, and strong. Repeat after me: if it's not simple and safe and strong, it's not for me. I think I'll start calling that standard the S3 standard. Simple, safe, strong. Yeah, I think I like it. Well, today I got an email from a listener named Trina in New York City. Trina recently sold a piece of real estate she inherited and now has about $1 million to work with. And not surprisingly, she's found herself on the radar of about a half a dozen different turnkey rental companies. One thing all of these companies agree on: they all believe rental property investing is the way to become financially free. Each have testimonials from their buyers claiming bliss and substantial returns in a totally hands-free fashion. But that's where the agreement ends, as each company thinks their market is the best, the most attention being given to the markets of Atlanta, Dallas, Memphis, Austin, and Detroit. So whichever company is pushing Atlanta property has done the best marketing job, as Trina has a strong preference towards deploying her capital into rentals there. But she wants to know what I think, and I suspect that this will be instructive for all of you, regardless of whether you're interested in Atlanta real estate or rentals in any other market. Trina asked what I think about the Atlanta market and whether I think rentals there make sense. She also asked if I thought she should do something different instead. Trina, I'll answer the questions you've asked, but more importantly, I'll tell you the questions you should be asking. Is Atlanta a good market? Well, the Atlanta market turned from negative to positive around 2012 and has been moving upward nicely ever since. Atlanta appreciation was at 13% last year and is currently running at about 7%. Both CoreLogic and Zillow have good things to say about the immediate future of the area. Lots of jobs are moving into parts of the city, with several large employers relocating there. I happen to live in a suburb of Atlanta, so I've observed a rising tide of property values, not just as a result of the research we do for this show, but also with my own eyes in my own hometown. Real estate has definitely been on the upswing in the ATL. So does it make sense to invest in rentals in Atlanta? That's a bit like saying, does it make sense to fish in the ocean? Atlanta is a huge city. Rentals fit naturally in some areas and not at all in others. Trina, this is where my S3 standard comes into play: simple, safe, and strong. So part one of the S3 standard: are rentals simple? In concept, yes. Buy a property, hire a manager, and collect your checks. If you have a really great property manager, which is even more elusive than a really great tenant, then rental properties could be relatively simple. But that's the exception, not the rule, no matter what your turnkey company claims. So I'll give rental investing a potentially simple rating. Moving on to part two of the S3 standard: is rental property investing a safe strategy? In reality, not so safe. This is the problem with virtually all of the glowing testimonials that the turnkey companies provide to you. Their testimonials come from recent clients who simply have not had the benefit of substantial real estate experience. What real landlords will tell you, those with more experience than just the blissful first few months, is that it doesn't matter how good your property manager is, being a landlord is a real commitment of time, money, or both, not to mention a mental drain. As a landlord, when the toilet breaks, it's your job to fix it, directly or indirectly. When the roof needs replacing, that's your job and it's coming out of your money. When the tenant's car breaks down in front of your house and it's left there for months, that's your expense to handle. This is reality, Trina. So do rental properties qualify on the safe scale? If all goes perfectly, then sure, but do you expect that? I'd give rentals a probably not safe rating, as there will be more expenses you'll pay, and those expenses are not predictable and could be substantial. One other aspect of safety: depending on the part of town you invest in, there could be physical danger as well. And the final part of the S3 standard: does rental investing offer strong returns? The answer: sometimes yes, and sometimes no. There have been many people who have become financially independent from buying large volumes of rentals and holding them for many years. But I propose to you that's the exception and not the rule. Is it possible rentals will work for you? Yes, of course. The biggest financial advantage of rentals is that they offer the possibility for appreciation. And if you happen to buy a rental in the path of progress or otherwise in a place that experiences great appreciation, then you certainly could do well for yourself. But here's the thing, Trina. I firmly believe and can prove mathematically that rental investing makes no sense and is a net negative if there's not substantial appreciation during your tenure of ownership. If you buy rentals outright with cash, it will take decades before you've recouped your capital investment, along with the inevitable expenses that go along with owning rental properties. I mean, literally decades to experience a return of your investment before you have a hope of getting a return on your investment. Furthermore, this is important. When you buy from those turnkey companies, almost none of them are going to give you a good deal on the house itself. You're going to pay full retail. Does that make even one bit of sense for an investor? No, it doesn't. So, Trina, you can make money from rentals. Yes, you can. But it absolutely requires decades of commitment to the strategy. And with all due respect to my friends in the turnkey business, what you'll never find is that you'll never ever find a successful landlord who has been in the business for decades, which is what it takes, and who will tell you that the path to getting there is to buy real estate for full retail prices. You will not find such a person. That person does not exist. Remember, all of the testimonials from your turnkey provider come from the last few years when real estate has been booming and there's been an overwhelming supply of renters to choose from. Do you think that's reality? Me either. So on the strong part of the S3 scale, I'll rate rentals as potentially strong. So on the simple, safe, strong scale, rentals play out like this. They're potentially simple, they're probably not safe, and they're potentially strong. What should you do instead, Trina? Tune into tomorrow's broadcast and I'll tell you how you can safely integrate rental investing into your portfolio, since that seems important to you, while mitigating the risks that are inherent to that strategy. In the meantime, my friends, be sure to join the new private email discussion group I formed exclusively for self-directed investors like you. Just text the word SDI Radio with no spaces to 33444. Again, SDI Radio with no spaces to 33444. You'll be very glad you did. Until tomorrow, remember, invest wisely today and live well forever.
Thank you for listening to Self-Directed Investor Radio with Bryan Ellis. Don't miss a single episode. Be sure to subscribe to Self-Directed Investor Radio right now on iTunes, on Stitcher, and at SDIRadio.com. Your feedback is always welcomed via email at feedback@SDIRadio.com. This show is for entertainment purposes only and is not intended as legal or professional advice for your situation. Content is the property of the Self-Directed Investor Society.